I was sitting at an oil change place today after I came home and dropped off Mello, and Mello went back to go get her dog. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I don't have any video ideas. Today's probably been the first day since I've been on vacation, which it's 3:30 in the afternoon, and I have not had a moment's rest to be at home and be able to make a video. And that's extremely rare, but I mean, from the moment I woke up this morning, it was out the door. This is how stupid today's been. I got in my car because I thought I had time between 8 and 9. I had an appointment at 9 o'clock at the salon, and I woke up late because I went to bed really late. And so I got in my car. I started going to the gym. Then I realized, oh my God, I left the stove on. And so I had to drive right back home, and then I ate my ground turkey taco, and then I took another shower, and then I left to go to the salon. While I was at the salon, the second I got done, I was literally unlocking my car when Mello wrote me that she had a few hours to kill because she's dropping off her dog at the groomers. So I had to wait for that. Anyhow, it was a very busy day. So fast forward this afternoon, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I don't know how long it's been since I've had an oil change, but since I only drive my car $4,000, 4,000 miles a year, I don't really worry about oil changes or any sort of car maintenance because I just don't use my car enough. I mean, I haven't put gas in it in 3 weeks, and I was pretty much fine. I just put gas in it again, and it just cost me $30 to fill up the whole tank. That's how little gas I use. Anyhow, coming back to sitting there, I was sitting there scrolling through my phone looking for video ideas when I heard a woman's voice. A woman who sounded nasty, right? Typical Karen. And I heard her in the distance at the front door, and she said to the guy, grease monkey, to him, it's like, what's this going to cost? And he's like, I don't know until we look at what you have. And she just like, I could feel the disdain for him in her voice. And I was just expecting to see someone that, I, I had no idea what to expect. So she walked right up to me. She looks at me and she says, hello. And I go, hello. And then I look back down at my phone. That's what human interactions are like in present day. Hello. That's it. Anyhow, it had nothing to do with the rest of the video. I just thought it was such an odd encounter with a perfect stranger. So while I was scrolling through my phone, I came across this article from Fortune. And unfortunately, because of licensing, I can see the article on my telephone, on my cell phone. But if I go and I try to look at that article through the internet on my home computer, it won't let me. It'll just let me see the title and then ask me to pay. As I said, licensing. Some places will let you access them through some media, and others won't. Anyhow, the point of the article that I copied into Chat GPT at the time was Gen Zero honestly believes that they're going to be rich. I don't know how they came to this conclusion other than when I was that age. When I was in my early 20s, I thought it was only a matter of time before I became rich. And so I kept waiting and waiting to see when I was going to get rich. I spent my early 20s waiting. I spent my early 30s waiting. And guess what? You're not going to get rich. That's why they're called the 1%. I've worked nothing but minimum wage jobs my entire adult life. And so at some point, you have to realize that you're not going to become rich. There aren't CEO positions open for generic Gen Zero out there. If you are going to become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or any company for that matter, you're going to have had those privileges handed to you in the womb. You're not going to work your way up from fry cook to CEO. And this is the biggest pet peeve for job fairs in America. Gen Zero shows up and the entitled generation thinks, oh, you know what? How do I become an executive? You're like, you're not fit to work in the mailroom, let alone a position that you have to have direct family ties to, school ties to, uh, some sort of friend tie to. It's when it comes to money, money is intertwined with one another. If you are not bumping elbows with money, you are never going to be rich. And Gen Zero just can't get past that. This is what really bothers me about Gen Zero is they're so stupid that they really think that opportunity is just going to fall out of the sky and suddenly I'm going to have a job, I'm going to be making all this money, I'm going to have work-life balance. No, Gen Zero, you're going to have zero. You're going to spend the rest of your life working in warehouse, retail restaurants, at the bottom because no one wants you around in corporate America. And it's really hard to get rich when no one in power wants you around. If you're not qualified to work at a McDonald's, do you think that somehow you're going to make it to money? That's the biggest misconception that there is in this country. Immense effort doesn't equal a payoff. People at the bottom work really hard. I tell you, working in a meat packing plant is extremely hard, dangerous, and low paying. Farming is extremely low paying, hard work. These people have no opportunity whatsoever. If you're a person that immigrated into America and you can't speak English and you don't have any skills and you don't have any education, you're going to stay at the bottom for the rest of your life. And Gen Zero just refuses to believe that. So I know I'm a little bit hotter than usual today, but that's just because when I was reading this article, I just thought to myself, I've spent my entire adult life as a poor person. Do you think I have any hope of escaping the wage cage? Absolutely none. My hope was destroyed from the moment I realized I wasn't rich. It didn't matter how much education I got. It didn't matter that I had potential. It didn't matter that my professors thought I was a brilliant person. When it comes down to it, if you're not touching money, you will never, ever touch money. You can play the lottery all you want. It's not going to happen. If it were easy to escape, there would be no poor people. It would be 99% of people are comfortable and 1% of people are homeless. That's not the way it is. So, this reality check for Gen Zero has to come hard and has to come fast. Because if you're going to live your whole life wondering, well, when's it going to be my turn? It's never going to be your turn. All right, so this is the opening monologue here. I saw this survey the other day that 71% of Gen Zero believe they'll be rich someday. Not just comfortable, like rich, vacationing on yachts. Rich. I mean, I'd love that to be. Really? Look around. Yes, Gen Zero, look around. Look at how much wealth is around you. I live in an apartment complex right now that rents rooms to the homeless because there aren't enough tenants that can afford to live here. They rent rooms to people that have no money in this apartment complex. And I couldn't understand it for months and months. There's like 20 or 30 people sitting in the parking lot out here every morning waiting for something. And I didn't understand. The only thing that they all had in common is they were all broke as hell. You could just tell their clothes were tattered, their clothes were dirty, they looked deranged. Some of them looked like they were on drugs. And they're waiting for some sort of community vehicle to come out and pick them off and take them to a place where they can get free food. That's why they're there. But with that said, let's get into my 3 talking points because I need to get into the talking points. All right, here we go. Explore how Gen Z financial goals of $10 million worth of net worth with $500,000 annual salaries compared to the actual economic challenges they face, such as student debt, wage stagnation, and the rising cost of living. $500,000 a year? Really, Gen Z? You're looking at $12.50 at the shop and blow. $500,000 a year. No. Even the executives that work at my current Evil Corp don't make that much. They're hovering at around $200,000 to $250,000 a year. And that's an executive with an Ivy League education, family that's been wealthy for many generations, and friends with influence. You, oh my God. Just reading that, you have to just laugh at these people. Like, really? Oh my God, sorry. I can't stop laughing. It reminds me of a YouTuber that went over to Brown University and it started interviewing kids on campus, random freshmen. And the YouTuber comes up, sticks the microphone in their face, and asks these college students, it's like, well, how much money do you expect to make, when you're done with your undergrad? Your what degree do you have? A biology degree? And he shoved the microphone right in their face, and they would say something completely stupid. It's like, well, I'm hoping to start out at like, 300 to $500,000 a year. Maybe I can get a job with one of my family's friends or something. And you just the guy doing the reporting looks straight into the camera, and it's like, this person is stupid. You're like, oh my God. And it wasn't just one person, it was the consensus across all of the students that they were asking at that university. They all had these ridiculous ideas about what people were going to pay them. Remember, these are people with less than 1 year of experience. Most of them have never had a job before they got there, and they're going to command salaries of a seasoned senior level management position. No, no one's going to do that. And I think that's the reason why Gen Z is so bitter. Why if they're not going to make what they're going to make, they're not going to work. And this is something I've heard from recruiters for years now. The recruiter offers them a entry level position, right? $12.50 an hour. And the Gen Zero looks at them and thinks, but I went to college. I went to a nice college. And the recruiter's like, your college education doesn't matter, you idiot, unless you went to Harvard or one of the really, really good schools. And even if you went to one of those schools, there's tens of thousands of new Ivy League graduate students every single semester. ASU, I think, pumped out 20,000 grads last summer or in the spring. Largest class ever. Do you think every one of those students has a good, rich, fulfilling job? I'm willing to bet that 99% of those students either have a minimum wage job or aren't working at all. Because that's what we're seeing out here. If you graduate from college and you have no skills, then corporations don't want you. A college education doesn't mean anything anymore for the vast majority of the people that are out here. My college education has never fetched me a single red penny. In fact, I've had to take all my education off my resume because it hurts me. Because they look at my education and they think, you know what, we can't afford this guy. I've been told when I didn't take off my education that I had the wrong education. And that's when I knew how worthless spending all of those years at university really was. It doesn't matter for the types of jobs that I'm going to apply to. They don't care about college anymore. And that's something that Gen Zero is going to have to come to understand in the harshest possible way. Because if you're like me, you've been told since you were in kindergarten, either you go to college or you're a nobody. Well, I went to college, and guess what? I'm still a nobody. No one will hire me. I can't get a call back from any job that I've applied to on Indeed. No one will call me back for a job. You know the reason for that? Because they want someone who has the desperation of entry level with the kind of skills that you need in order to do that job. That's why they're not calling me back. So at least When you apply to hundreds of jobs and you don't get a single reply, that's a tough job market out there. All right, moving on to talking point number two. Examine how platforms like TikTok and Instagram glamorize wealth and promote the idea that anyone can become rich through side hustles, crypto, or viral success, creating inflated benchmarks for financial success. No side hustle is going to make you $1 million a year. You're never going to get rich from crypto. And viral success to me sounds like a lottery ticket. You can play the lotto every single day for the rest of your life, and there's a high percentage chance that you will never win anything. And that's the game of life. The most likely scenario for you for the rest of your life is that you will never win. There are people on this channel who have been looking for work for years. Unemployment at 6 months to 2 years. I was unemployed for 3 years before I got my current job. Do you think that I have any sort of optimism about the future? I have absolutely none. And I have senior level skills. I've been in the marketplace for a long time. But no matter what I put on my resume, no one cares that I worked in retail. No one cares that I worked in warehouse. And no one cares about any minimum wage job I've ever had. You can't put those things on your resume. And so now you're left with a resume that looks like Swiss cheese. That's not instilling a whole lot of confidence in potential future employers. Your resume makes you look bad. And that's if you have anything to put on it. Imagine if you just graduated from college and you have no work experience to put on there. When I got out of school, I tried to create the education resume, right? This is what career services told me to do. Put your classes on your resume, talk about the kinds of projects, what kinds of things that you're into, talk about your college years and how you progress through that. Zero return phone calls because there are no job skills there. University doesn't teach job skills. It teaches you how to be a well-rounded, educated person. Being an educated person doesn't mean you have job skills. Sad to say, but that's just the way that it works. And believing that you can be rich, you can believe all you want, all day long. You can sit there and just put your hands into fists and just believe so hard that you're going to be rich. You might crap your pants, but you're not going to get rich. Talking point three. Number three, delve into the psychological and social impacts of aiming so high. Does it foster resilience and innovation or lead to disappointment and burnout when goals aren't met? I don't understand this sentence. Delve into the psychological and social impacts of aiming so high. Does it foster resilience and innovation? Resilience and innovation? Well, those aren't even things that you get taught in college. Resilience? I have 4 college degrees. I don't know anything about resilience. Innovation? No. You're not even learning the latest theories in college because college textbooks take years to write. By the time the college textbook hits the sales stand, it's 2-3 years behind current scientific discoveries. When you earn an archaeology degree, it's based on what they were doing years ago. So you could pick up a newspaper today or go online and see today's latest scientific findings. You're not innovating. You're not developing resilience. In fact, this generation, actually, I was reading this morning, or was it? I think it was Mello who was telling me this, but I heard it somewhere today that corporations want to charge you for your sick days for inconveniencing them. Can you imagine a world where Gen Zero has to pay back Evil Corp because they had a mental health day? That's what they want to do, to motivate and incentivize people to come to work, because every worker in America would think twice if they had to pay back the corporation for not showing up that day because of the impact that it has on their overall sales and ability to run. Because Americans don't take work seriously. I don't take work seriously, and there shouldn't be a single person out there who believes that work is any good. Work isn't good for you. In fact, I would say that work is bad for your mental health, your overall health, your outlook on life, and it doesn't even come with stability. There is no work out there right now, in my opinion, where you have job security. Not having job security and mental health, those are two things that are intertwined. Knowing that you have no kind of job security hurts you. It's something you think about at night when you would rather be thinking about what you want to do to Susie Rottencrotch. Anyhow, with that said, let me get into my final bit here. So, in toxic positivity, this is what I wrote. So, here's a question we all need to ask ourselves: is believing we'll be rich the first step to making it happen? Or is it just a coping mechanism for a system that's left us all broke? We know what the answer to that is. It's a cope. We all know that we're broke. We feel it every day. It's a matter of waking up in the morning and touching your hiney and knowing, you know what? Even my hiney's broke because Fleece is waiting for me in the hallway the second I walk into Evil Corp.